Hey everybody, welcome back. We've been gone for a couple of weeks. We had Christmas and New Year's and all that. Today, Joe Dan's playing hooky. He's on special assignment. At least that's what they say when I don't know what they're doing. But he might pop in a little later. But we have a very special guest coming up right after we do our intro song while you're getting your comments ready. Mike Lester, one of my favorite cartoonists out there. Very funny, a very unique style. And we're going to show some of his cartoons today. But right now, get those comments ready. I'm going to play an intro song while we're warming up here. So enjoy.
Up and down, counting out, smiling through the taste of blood in my own mouth. I got bruises and broken bones, but they don't know I ain't in this ring alone. I'm a fighter. No one can say that I'm a running hider. I was born to be a do-or-dyer, a make-it-righter. Don't throw that towel just yet. Don't cash in that last bet, 'cause I hit harder when I'm tired. I'm a fighter. I get back up, that's what I do. I didn't soldier on this far just to lose. So take your shot, is that all you got? I'm a fighter. No one can say that I'm a running hider. Born to be a do-or-dyer, a make-it-righter. Don't throw that towel just yet. Don't cash in that last bet, 'cause I hit harder when I'm tired. Yeah, I'm a fighter. Oh, no one can keep me down. They didn't know, but they know now. That I'm a fighter. No one can say that I'm a running hider. Don't cash in that last bet. Don't throw that towel just yet. I'm a fighter.
Awesome video. Awesome video. I have my guest coming up, Mike Lester. We're going to talk about the direction of cartooning and where we think it might go, because for the last 4 years, we've been fighting on the other side. And now that we've won an election and Trump is president, and that's one of the reasons I was kind of my direction and my creativity was aimed at trying to get him elected and pointing out the flaws and the hypocrisy of the mainstream media. But now we're on the other side of it. And like I've told many of my followers and friends, that now is the time we need to pick it up and start fighting even harder, because the left is going to be coming at us with everything they got. They're going to try to sabotage every good thing that Trump tries to accomplish, just like they did last time. He accomplished a lot last time, but they mired him down in these phony impeachment and lawfare. But I'm going to bring on my friend Mike Lester, fellow cartoonist. Hi, Mike. How are you?
What's up, Tony? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're one of my favorite cartoonists. You got to be probably the funniest cartoonist out, the political cartoonist out there. And we're going to show some of your stuff. I was looking over some of it, and I can't help but laugh. Your drawings are in such a fashion that even even I mean even before you see the punchline, you start laughing. So, um, and that's a positive thing.
Well, that's the,
Just
well, you know, that's the trick, right? You want
yeah,
people to be surprised. You want
right.
you want to hold the hammer as long as you can.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you know
What
what? I
do
didn't know how to do that when I first started, and then I realized, I don't know if I realized it, but I learned that. Well, first of all, you got to make yourself. I'm going to make myself. I'm not going to be in. I got to make laugh at some point,
yeah,
or else I
right.
can't expect you to laugh. But yeah,
Yeah.
you got to hold it for the last possible moment.
Yeah, and I noticed that sometimes I'll initially draw something and I'm laughing at first because I think it's funny. But then after working on it for a couple hours, I go, is this really that funny? But it's probably only because I've been looking at it. Now, not all my cartoons are meant to be funny, but
Right.
so
No,
I
right.
got to hang on to that initial feeling I got when I first drew it, first laid it out. And if I was laughing then, it's probably still funny to a lot of people.
Okay, let me. One of the things I wanted to talk about now, I'm going to go ahead and this was what I don't want to say. If I don't say it now, I'll forget it. I don't think people um, are trying to lampoon or delve into issues from either side, right or left. I see bad right cartoonists. Um, you can tell there's a method to this. There's a reason why we're going here, and it's just not an ad hominem attack. And
Hmm.
that's exactly all. It's all I see on the left.
Hmm.
Orange man bad. But
Yeah.
they've been doing that for. You would think they would do something different, but they don't. And you know why? They got nothing else. They cannot postulate the issues. I mean, I don't really. There's something called parody inversion. Have you heard of this?
Hmm.
Parody inversion is when reality becomes so absurd you can't tell it from parody.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's or in simpler terms, you can't write or draw anything more insane than the real news story.
And that's kind of a problem I've had. I said if I do a cartoon, is I don't have to really change much because the
Right.
issue is so absurd that you can't help but laugh. But when you realize it's real, it's hard to laugh at it. And putting that connection together is really hard to do. You have to kind of come from it, at least I do, from a different angle and try to put something a little different in there so they understand it, laugh at it, but then also see the seriousness of the issue. I
Yeah.
know is that understandable, or am I getting my
Well,
point
I tell you what
across?
I do a lot of times. I quote people. I literally just quote. Um, I think you're going to show the interview Trump the cartoon I did where I can't remember the news people's names. When the woman interviewed Trump face to
Oh
face,
yeah, I can't remember her name either, but
she
I
was
think it was
listen.
ABC. I think.
I probably do more. I probably do more quotes than a lot of cartoonists because you can't tell me I'm wrong because I'm
Mm-mm.
quoting verbatim. Now, of course, make up what she said later. But
why don't we go through some of the cartoons, some of your cartoons? Let's get some of my cartoons out of the way. That I usually show my cartoons in the beginning and then move on to other things. So let me get mine out of the way, and you can comment on them. You can criticize whatever you want. I'll try
no,
to.
I'm a fan. You know that. I wouldn't be on the show if I didn't love your stuff.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now computer's giving me a rough time. Oh, there it is. There it is. So I have to push some buttons here. Joe Dan always teases me about not knowing where the buttons are after all these years of doing it. Share screen. There we go. Hang in there with me, folks. We're right here. I'm going to do it. Okay. All right. Oh, this is the first. I'll pull it up here big so people can see it. Let's see. Yeah, it's full screen, so we can do this. This one, I do a cartoon every week for alphanews.org out of Minnesota. And it has to be an issue. They want an issue that pertains. They don't tell me what to draw, but it has to be an issue about Minnesota. And in the Minnesota Capitol building, they had a Satan holiday display, and he allowed it. All the Democrats allowed it, and he's been criticized for doing that. So this is where this cartoon came from.
You know what? You put tampons in his suit coat. That's really all I need to see. I mean,
yeah.
That's. I know this issue, but when I run now you did this because, as you said, you got a client, Alpha News.
Mm-hmm.
I did one Waltz cartoon only because he was just sucking that. He did have a zenith. He got a lot of airtime for a while. Okay, I can't ignore him. And I put him in a tank. I know what it was. He'd been hunting, and I'm a hunter.
Oh, yeah.
And I put him in. I did him. What's his name? Was in the tank.
Dukakis.
Dukakis.
Yeah.
And I had him as Elmer Fudd. And otherwise, I didn't do advanced cartoon. That was the only. I don't have time to mess with. Once again, I'm not criticizing this because this is your client and that's in Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying when my stuff goes God knows where, I only get so many a week. I don't want to waste time. That's a good cartoon. By the way, I don't know if you saw the video of when Waltz sent out stormtroopers and shot people with paintball guns.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
I've heard about it.
People were out on their front porches, and these guys, really stormtroopers, were walking down the street, and they said, "Get back!" yelling at people, "Get back inside!" And they said, "Light them up!" And they shot people on their front porches with paintball guns.
I heard about that.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
America.
Yeah.
I didn't draw that, but that's
yeah, that's
that happened.
That's crazy. And you get that a lot from now. These cartoons are from probably a couple of weeks ago because we were off for 2 weeks. This one is Happy Holidays from Hunter Biden. Jeering the J6 prisoners who should, what that was all about.
Sure.
So at the time, I'm trying to refresh. He got a pardon, you can see here. But we have a lot of J6ers in prison who did nothing more than just kind of walk through the hall where they were let in. Grandmothers praying, and they didn't break anything in there. They were just kind of meandering around taking selfies, and cops were taking selfies with them. And the Democrats really blew this up. But we're getting kind of past that. I hope that Trump does some pardons coming up here for many of the J6ers. And I'm not talking about the ones who happen to be violent and breaking windows and that. I'm talking about 90% of the people who were just there. Some of them who were out there, they never even went in the Capitol or were arrested and jailed. So
I believe Trump speaking today, I know he spoke for an hour yesterday. I don't know what he said today, but I know one of the things he said today was he said in a news conference on camera, there were no guns confiscated by any January 6th, by anybody, including the people they arrested.
Mm-hmm.
None.
Yeah.
Now, I know people who will fight you over that.
Yeah, they said armed insurrection, which it wasn't true. It wasn't even an insurrection. And then they said Trump caused it by telling people to peacefully march over to the Capitol. And the fact that he offered National Guard before, and they turned it down. There's nothing that directly relates him to an insurrection, let alone an armed insurrection. So
I'm trying to think. Somebody, I don't know if it was Bill Maher, but somebody like Bill Maher literally played that on their show and said, he didn't say what you're saying he said. And that was, once again, weird. I wish I knew it was, but that, I mean, 4 years, you can expect to hear somebody on the left say something like that to adamant leftists.
No. Well, especially when they're equating it with Pearl Harbor and the Civil War and all these outlandish, they're trying to, and they're really, January 6th is kind of like, they're trying to make it into December 7th, and a day that'll live in infamy.
They're trying to make it into Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, and nobody was killed except for a Trump supporter shot by an unarmed Trump supporter shot by a loony cop that works there, a DEI cop,
officer. And he should have been charged with murder. He shot into a crowd. He literally shot into a crowd.
Yes, and if he was white, and that was BLM in there, and he was white, and he shot a black woman, you can guarantee he would be in jail right now.
All right. I like the tramp stamp, by the way.
Yeah. And then the Grinch who ruined the left's plan to destroy America. And then, of course, you have DOJ and
now, here you go. Here you got Klaus and Soros. Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you. But, for the last 2 weeks, all I've heard is Elon Musk is the president.
Yeah.
And Vivek Ramaswamy is his vice president. Soros and his son and Bill Gates. Help me out here.
Tom Sire.
Gosh, for 4 fucking years.
Yeah, Tom Sire. There's a slew of billionaires that are on the Democrat side pumping in money for them. What did Kamala?
And it's 10 times more accurate observation, given the fact that Joe Biden doesn't know his zip code.
No, yet.
So it's really a ludicrous. In fact, I get so tired of it. I just kind of got to quit engaging these people. I very rarely answer or engage with it. I'm glad Go Comics cut out the comment section.
Oh,
I save 20 hours a week. I deal with those people.
Just getting into the comments, huh? Yeah. So, hey, anybody, if you have a question for Mike Lester, what is your de jure? Can you talk about your de jure thing a little bit?
Yeah. Well, it's here. I wrote this. It's Mike de jure.
Okay.
It's my daily comic strip on Substack or Go Comics. Mike de jure is a comic strip. Seinfeld was a comedy show about nothing. Well, Mike DeJure is about everything.
Yeah.
And I have,
But that's not so political, is it? Did you?
it is
Is it?
not, and it wasn't at all for years because I wanted to keep the two separate.
Right.
I haven't been able to, and somewhat intentionally, the climate is just too. It's a target-rich environment, and
Yeah.
you know I'm a Christian. I talk. I'm not ashamed of that on Christmas or Easter. I do those two cartoons every year. I'm a really bad Christian. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write a book one day called Mike the Shitty Christian. But yeah, Mike DeJure is it's observational and it's yeah. I think people, it's I tell people Mike DeJure is a comic strip for people who know what DeJure means. It's a daily comic strip, and it's just stream of consciousness, and it's out every day, 365 days a year. I've been doing it for 15 years.
Wow. Wow. And that's syndicated out to a lot of papers, right?
Yeah.
Newspapers. Yeah. Here, this cartoon here, Happy New Year's. Of course, I always like to put Biden with the sippy cup. This time I have him actually in a diaper since, it's the end of the year. He's heading out. And people kept saying, you didn't put him in a diaper. Well, some people got their wish. You have all the criminal pardons back here. Big guy, 10%, the bloody hands. And I always, that symbolizes the Afghanistan mess and all the people that die coming up through the border. He's a total mess. Now we have the new year. And I said New Year's, meaning 2021, right. 22, 23, 24. And now we're going, leaving that behind, going into 25, 26, 27, 28. And so every year I try to do at least one New Year's cartoon at the end of the year. And that's it. And again, I do a cartoon for alphanews.org out of Minnesota. This is pertaining to Waltz again. I always try to put the tampons in the pocket when I can to symbolize that he wants tampons in all the boys' rooms, probably in the men's rooms too, if he could get away with it. But there's just a lot of corruption going on there. He's just turned a blind eye, maybe because it's filling up his coffers too. I don't know. But I want to move on here real quickly because I want to get to Mike's cartoons. And this cartoon, I got some flack for it because the conservatives are very divided on the H-1B visa program. And to me, I think they should always put Americans first. If all the jobs are filled with Americans, then we can start maybe importing some technological geniuses from other countries if they can pass the smell test and pass all that. But what has happened in the past is just a few years ago, H-1B visa people were coming over and Americans were training them, and then the businesses were firing the Americans because of the ability to give them low wages and basically call them indentured servants. Do you have any comment or issue on this, Mike? This issue?
It's not in my wheelhouse at the moment,
right?
But I'm and the reason is because I prefer to talk about the broader issue, and I'm big on the border. And securing the border, and we're going to see a cartoon I did in last January that pretty much came to fruition, and it's still pertinent. It's not now since Biden's getting ready to leave office, but it's what's been going on.
Yeah. I think there's going to be some big changes there. At this particular cartoon, was it was I guess it was on Newsmax. Saucedo show today or yesterday. I don't know. People commented that they saw it on the Chris Salcedo show. Basically, I think Biden just cheapened this award. I think it, some of the people that, the left hands these out to is just, it's despicable. These two people are the antithesis of freedom to me in my book. What do you think?
I wish I could remember who I heard yesterday say that after the inauguration, that somebody needs to go take Soros's medal from him. I can't remember who said that, and he laid out why.
Yeah,
I can't.
Well, Steve Bannon, he was on his program.
It was Steve Bannon.
He said they need to go up to him, find him, and rip it off his neck.
That's exactly what it was. And he laid out all the reasons, and I'm not versed enough to be able to tell you what they are. But
I mean, you look at
now that I'm looking at this blood on, I've never noticed blood on Joe's hands before. And you know what you're doing? You're doing my old art history classes. There was a time where I can't remember when it was. There's a medieval feel to your work, like the brocade. I ain't got time to do brocade. Well, you guys, you're doing that. I mean, it's good. It's a very unique and time-consuming, I imagine, style.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're getting ready to look at shorthand here in a minute.
Yeah, well, that I admire that because, I'm envious of your style in the sense that, I don't know, it's the way I started. It's how I started doing it, and it's like, okay, do I continue with this style and doing it? It's just what I know. It's kind of like you're doing what you know.
I don't have time. I don't have time. You don't have time to. I'm not going to relearn anything. I don't.
Yeah.
It's I started out in newspapers, and I'll never forget. I had an editor once who said I was pretty upset about the way something printed, and he looked at me and said, "There's nothing older than yesterday's newspaper." So,
yeah. That's a good one. I'm gonna pull this up here.
This is today.
Yeah, well, I did this cartoon back in 2019 with the fires.
Oh,
because really? I'm gonna just tell you a tiny little story about my dad. My dad was a logger. He cut wood for a living, especially after he had a heart attack and he was kind of disabled. What he did, to stay in shape, he cut wood and sold it. And they would give him out these permits to go out and chop wood and clear, fallen trees and shrubbery, just to clear things out.
Right.
Because a lot of it was a fire trap. Well, they cut out his permits, and the reason they gave was because of the environment. And then he told me, we were sitting in the living room with him, and he passed away about 20 years ago. And this has got to be about 30, 40 years ago that he said this. He said, they're going to rue the day someday when all these forest fires start breaking out. They're not going to be able to stop. They're going to be horrific because of the environmentalists and because of what they're doing. And he was right. They're very prophetic because he could see the writing on the walls with it. So, I put this out again today, just threw it out on social media. So, and of course, people run with it, sort of semi-viral. But that's it for the cartoons for me. I just want to say that the fires down there are just horrible. They're horrendous, and when you find out that they cut the fire departments down there, cut their budget way back, and then poured money into helping the homeless and fighting homelessness. Now homeless is 10 times worse than it was, and they have nothing to fight the fires with.
We sent fire trucks that they thought were excess fire trucks.
Mm-hmm.
We put them on a boat and sent them to the Ukraine. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah, I just heard about that today. Also, they're having a hard time.
What's the mayor of LA doing in Ghana for a presidential inauguration?
Mayor Karen Bass. There's no water to fight the fires because they've diverted the water out into the ocean, so they're running out of water. They have no water for the fire hydrants, so a lot of these places had to just sit and burn because when they hook up the fire hydrants, there was no water. This is just. I don't know what it takes for California to understand that Democrats are killing them. They're destroying them. And they just, I don't know. I can't put my finger on why they just keep voting for these people, but they do. And,
well, by the way, I was watching off and on. I was in the front room, front of the house. And I just passed the TV and big prime zero containment. That was 45 minutes ago.
Zero containment.
This just burned through.
Yeah.
It's still a fire they can't contain.
Yeah. The winds are so hot. The winds are so hot.
Fire, a dangerous fire area, but
yeah. I'm gonna get to. Let me get out of here. I'm gonna get to some of your cartoons, Mike. As soon as I pull them up here, share screen, and we have a lot of people in the chat. Salty Girl, Anna Lestenberg, Deplorable Distance, of course. South Carolina Girl, Kenzie.
All right.
A lot of people over in the trap. We also have that in the StreamYard trap. We have quite a few people over there commenting, and I'll show some of the comments a little bit. Hang in there with us, folks. Let me get Mike's cartoons up here going.
Right, while you're doing that, I'll make this easy for everybody.
And a lot of new people over there too. Welcome, everyone. Good to have you. I'm going to go back and see if there's any comments. Yeah, James Woods is very near to the fire. Some of his neighbors have lost their homes. That's true. That's South Carolina Girl. Salty Girl picking up his laundry. Deplorable Dissonant now to ask who benefits from the L property clearing. Yeah, well, that's a good question. You can't help but ask the question after what happened in Malibu. Miss Nancy Rice. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people over there. So anyway, this first cartoon from Mike.
That's tomorrow's cartoon.
This is tomorrow's. Oh, you guys get a sneak peek. Sometimes I throw a sneak peek up for folks. What's that?
You're the first people to see it.
All right. 51st state, eh? What a hooser.
A hoser.
Hoser. Oh, hoser. I'm sorry. Canada, U.S. Department, $300 billion.
Everybody's talking about they owe us money and said it's $200 billion. I literally Googled AI, and they said it's 324 point something $billion
that Canada owes.
There are, but you know what? In their defense, they're number 5.
Yeah.
Japan is number 1. They're in the trillions.
Mm-hmm.
That owe us money. But you know what?
Wow.
I guess it's because I guess it's because of all our bases over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can figure.
Yeah.
But you know what? A cartoon like this, there was no reason to write Trump in it.
No.
And
no.
So I felt like it was fine. Here's the Joe Biden cartoon. There's the oldest cartoon you're going to show. That's from last January.
This cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, this, I just, like you, I read a lot. I read a lot before I sit down and put paper. And I said, yeah, this is nothing more than a voter drive. And the idea of letting all these people in isn't to better America, get the best and brightest from around the world, like we're supposed to be doing. It was this right here, permanent electoral majority. That was the purpose of all this, and it still is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is great. It's awesome. I like this. When I become lifeguard, you are the lifeguard. And I imagine that's going to well,
if you see all these people who are drowned right here, inflation, wars, illegal immigration, border, and crime.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
well, it's kind of like what they act like is they act like they're not in power. They say, well, we can't get anything through Congress. Well, Trump didn't need anything through Congress to seal the border or prevent things from happening there. So I don't know. I love it though, and your characters are great. It's funny, yeah. Joy.
That one just sort of drew itself.
Yeah. That's great. Again, folks, if you have any questions for Mike Lester, throw them in the comment section. I'll try to get to them. Okay, Lincoln Riley, and she got her. Open borders. Absolutely, that's very good. No need for like word bubbles or anything. It just pretty much hits it.
I don't know if everybody knows who Lincoln Riley is, but
yes,
Lincoln Riley was a nursing student at my alma mater, the University of Georgia, Athens, Georgia. It was a very big deal to my people and my university, and it's just, by the way, 149 Democrats did not vote for the Lincoln Riley bill. Now it passed.
158. It was 158, wasn't it?
Oh, it was?
Yeah, that didn't vote. Well, yeah, the Lincoln Riley bill. Yeah, and all it says is make sure that you get all the criminals, like the murderers, the rapists, and the high crime people, get them out. And the Democrats, 158 of them voted no on it. I don't know how you.
I am past being surprised by this.
Oh no.
So.
Yeah, I don't even understand their reasoning. I don't know if I'd understand it if they told me there was a reason, but okay.
This is the one I was talking about. That first yellow bubble is pretty much verbatim.
Yeah. Even though the Steele dossier was a hoax, Adam Schiff was caught lying, and the Mueller report found no evidence you colluded with Russia. Will you today concede the 2020 election?
And he just said that and said no.
Yeah, he just looked. It was his answer was instant. No, that's it. No, yeah. So, yeah, and that was the last cartoon. Wow, funny stuff, Mike. I always like seeing your stuff. But anyway, I'm going to read some comments, bring some comments up, and chat with about those. See what do we got here? We got some heavy duty comments here. I posted on X about that. The problem has been our schools. No question, big tech massively abused exactly this. Identified servitude is a very fitting term. I witnessed that up close and personally early on with their abuses of Microsoft 2+ decades ago. While dating a Romanian working there as part of how Microsoft, in my view, abused it. True. Good. He got the point of the cartoon, I think.
Mhm.
But we have some long ones here. So I'm going to kind of just, Squirky says, if all goes well, right a few days away from beginning to erase the woke class. I'm going to go scroll down. See, we got pouring in outstanding toons. That's directed at Mike. We just got done with his cartoons.
Thank you.
Say her name. And then talking about Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
Powerful. I'm sure they're talking about your tunes because we just finished up looking at them. Where's Joe Dan tonight, Antonia? Is everything okay with him? Well, I can't say everything's okay with him, but he's as good as normal. I'm pretty sure he got swamped with some stuff he had to do, and so I give him the day off, but I'm gonna have to dock his pay. He said he might pop in a little later. I haven't seen him yet. Haven't noticed him anyway. But anyways. But anyway, thanks for the comments, folks. Over here on Rumble, let me scroll down on these. You guys can't see these from my vantage point. Website for Mike, please. We need websites, Mike, where they can see your stuff.
I'm on Go Comics. You can go to Mike DeJour and Mike Lester.
So if they type any of these things into Google or whatever the search engine, they'll pop up.
Yeah.
Pop it. Just
If you
type in Mike Lester.
Type Mike Lester in, and they all come up.
Yeah, that's kind of the way. Where do you think cartooning, now that Trump has won, and where do you think for political cartoonists anyway, conservative side? I have no idea what the left is thinking. Yeah, but on the conservative side of things, where do you think it's headed? What's the angle now? Is it the same, or?
I'm going to choose my words carefully. I honestly don't see editorial cartooning getting better.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but I don't think they're capable of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any. I'm not talking about ideologically, because I like to see. There are a couple of left cartoonists. I think are very, very talented people, but they're very few.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of nuance. It's very I think I said earlier, it's ad hominem. It's it's just name calling, and
Yeah.
That gets old after a while. If you're not going to make a point,
Right.
you know.
Well, it's like you said earlier that it seems like a lot of the cartoonists on the side are just going all out to see how nasty and how demeaning that they can be without much reality or substance to their cartoon. They're not really making a point other than, like you said, Orange Man bad. They don't really have a strong issue connected to it. And if they do, you delve into it, the issue is totally off on left field. So Ramirez, he told me one time, years, this has got to be about 15, 16 years ago. I just asked for some advice because I was dabbling in cartoons. I said, what can you give? What advice can you give an up and coming struggling cartoonist? He says, and he'd seen some of my stuff. And he said, the best advice I can give to anybody is to find a point and sharpen it and not have all these other points and other issues surrounding the point you're trying to make to confuse people. If you make one point in that little box, you're basically, you'll do much better. And I did take that advice. I try to focus on one point. That's why I'll throw in the sippy cup and the bloody hands, but it's not the focus of the cartoon. I'll have his bag 10% of his big guy money off to the side, but the focus of the cartoon is this, that I want him to direct him to.
You haven't asked me, but if you were to ask me that question, I'd tell you this. I want to shock people.
There you go.
And I don't want to insult them. I don't want to have to be profane to do it. But I don't want to be afraid to say something that I know I think is true. I don't know it. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. But if I believe it, and if it's worth me, like, sitting down and putting it on paper, I want it to be. I don't want you. I don't want you to be able to find it anywhere else. I'm not afraid to say what I feel like needs to be said.
Amen, brother.
I'm too old to be shy.
You get to our age, you go, yeah.
That hasn't always worked. Look. I've been bounced. By bounced, I've had rejected cartoons. I can't count how many times. And you know what? You make your argument, make your case,
right?
And it's the kryptonite is when your editor says, "Well, you're going to lose readers," and I always back off. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'm not foolish. I don't want to lose readers, and I'm not in it to.
Do you have some books out? You have who's your publisher on your books?
Well, I don't. The only books I have out are kids' books. Like I do children's books.
Yeah. Where can they find those?
Amazon.
Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
They have a
I've
specific.
got a series right now. I'm trying to sell, and it's such a good idea, and I can't seem to find anybody who. I may self-publish it.
Self-publish, yeah.
I'm not going to say it right now, but I'll send it to you. I'll send you the idea. It's I think it's a good idea, but it's not editorial. It's strictly kid stuff. I've got two grandchildren now, 4 and 2. We talked about that. I want my grandchildren to be able to read my books at some point. You were saying something about. Okay. Here's the other thing. There are a lot of, there are a lot of conservative cartoons who are anti-Trump, Trumpers, never Trumpers. I respect that.
Sure.
I don't know how you square it.
No.
Personally, I mean, look, it's like I can't remember who said this, but somebody recently said, "Look, I know who it was. It was Billy Graham's son. Did you see that quote?
No.
And asked about Trump. He says, "Look, I don't want him to be my pastor."
Absolutely. I don't want to take him out to dinner.
I mean, I'd love to play golf with Donald Trump, but I can understand the reticence to be associated with somebody. Look, I'm pretty rough around the edges too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't play golf anymore so much to play golf. It's the only place I know where I can cuss, spit, and drink all at the same time for 4 hours.
Well, like I said, we don't want him to be our pastor, but I think TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is a very real psychosis that people have twisted Trump into something that isn't even real. It's a figment of their imagination. It's something that they've conjured up in their heads to try to get by, try to justify. It's like with Obama, they put up a blank screen, and whatever they wanted their president to be, that's who Obama was, although he was horrible. But all they saw was that blank screen of what they projected on there. Well, they're doing the opposite with Trump. They're projecting everything that's evil that they can conceive of and casting it on that screen, and that's who Trump is. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, that was it.
I never drew this cartoon, but there was a time where I was going to make Barack Obama a tilapia. You know what tilapia is? It has no flavor. You have to impose. It's a blank canvas among chefs. I'm not a chef. But I heard him talking about this. I thought, well, that sounds just like Barack Obama.
It's like a filler.
He has no personality. You have to imbue him with it.
You know, Joe Dan couldn't be with us, but he had a video wanted me to play, and the video is it's rated PG 13.9. So if you have sensitive ears, you're not going to want to hear it. So, but I'm going to play it. Bear with me, Mike, and we'll play this one. I got to at least do one video that Joe Dan. Let's see what it is.
Well, the Democrats have taken us on quite a ride over the past 4 years, haven't they, ladies and gentlemen? So on behalf of MAGA, we'd like to share our true appreciation in a song.
You're my prison bitch, you're not like other men. I'm glad we share a prison cell when lights go out at 10. I can't escape the way I feel, now that would be a crime. As long as I am doing you, I don't mind doing time. 'Cause you're my prison bitch, and I have no regrets. I got you for a candy bar and a pack of cigarettes. At first you were resistant, but now you are my friend. I knew that I would get you in the end. Prison bitch, prison bitch. I guess that you were sent from up above. Yeah. Prison bitch, prison bitch. And now you are my prisoner.
I'm your prison bitch, and you're a sex machine.
And take that gun out of your mouth.
I guess that's going to be in Joe Dan's next video. It's part of it. So he sent that over and he wanted me to tell everybody hi and sorry you couldn't be here. But thanks a lot, you guys. South Carolina, this is new. This is from the new IF show, Intellectual Frog Leg show. This is hilarious. And then Kazini said, Tony, you know we already signed the waivers. Yeah. So anyway, so if you didn't like that video, blame Joe Dan. I thought it was funny. So, anyway, but
he does some funny stuff.
Oh man, I like his videos, and I tell you why, because they're not just linear on something. It's like taking kind of a ride, a roller coaster ride, where you get humor, he gets serious, more humor, brings up things you may not have thought of before, and he kind of puts it all together. He weaves these things together so well. A lot of his videos, I mean, sometimes I'll watch them 3 or 4 times and still don't catch every little thing. Very entertaining. So but he should have one coming out here by next week. I'm hoping. That's the main reason why he couldn't be here is he was doing some integral stuff with it. So anyway, so what's this year looking like for you professionally? Up, down, you got some irons in the fire, Mike, or?
Yeah, and I am notoriously superstitious, so I'd rather not say right at the moment, but I'm hoping to, I'm still an illustrator. I started as an illustrator. I was in advertising for 20 plus years. I did all of the packaging for Coors during the Super Bowl. Coors would put out commemorative packaging, 24 packs, 12 packs. And at the time, they had 5 different brands.
Yeah.
I did all their packaging for 2 years.
Wow.
And it was
the designs on the
rewarding
packages.
work.
The designs on the packages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I was working at a strip mall. I just rented a storefront and just covered the windows. I just needed an office space. My kids were young.
Mhm.
I did a lot of stuff like that. I don't do that anymore. But I've got some other projects I'd like to work on. But in terms of the cartoon world, I've I split my time between Mike DeJour and editorial. I do 3 editorials and of course 7 days a week with Mike DeJour. One more thing about Mike DeJour. Mike DeJour starts on a Monday and the story arc lasts through Saturday. So
it's a continuous story. It's a continuous story through the week on kind of one thing.
Correct. It's a story arc for 6 days. And on Sundays, it stands alone. It is incredibly. It's just relentless. I mean, you're never caught up. I'm always, I kind of need the adrenaline. I kind of need the rush to be on deadline.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like standing over. It's like, people stand I'll never forget. Larry Bird said about Dominique Wilkins missing foul shots. He said, "You can't shoot foul shots when your hands are on your neck." You just would stand there too long.
Yeah.
So I don't give myself a chance to get like that. I've got. I got it. I'm just like, I'm looking at the clock right now. I'm getting ready to say goodnight to you because I got to go to bed. Because, I like it that way. I just need the rush.
Yeah.
It's an adrenaline thing.
And I need the prodding too. I need to have this specific thing done by this. And I try to space it out so I have time to think about the editorial cartoons, but sometimes I just don't. I mean, it's just, and there's so much coming at me on all levels as far as issues going, and I'm trying to pick out which issue I want to focus on and be creative with it to where it makes a strong point. We had a question here from Squeaky says, what do you think of the Pulitzer winning quitting Washington Post after her cartoon was censored? What do you think of that?
I'm going to tell you the truth. She was. I'll read it to you. She drew a sketch. Submitted the sketch. Wasn't a finished cartoon. She submitted the sketch, and of the sketch, one of the characters was Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, on his knees offering money in terms of, I don't know if it's a bribe or not, with 3 other guys. One was the owner of the LA Times. The other one was a guy who is an AI billionaire. One other guy, and then Mickey Mouse, offering money to a statue of Donald Trump. And that's a sketch that she submitted for approval. I don't have to do that anymore, but you do when you work for the Washington Post.
Right.
According to her editor, David Shipley, the cartoon was repetitive. It used to be an edited. Anyway, the quote that he said, the cartoon was repetitive. That's just a fact. So I'm just reading as the story's been reported. Why she decided to resign, I don't know. She has her own reasons.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair to say that she was censored.
Yeah.
And I promise you,
No.
she's been around long enough to where she's had cartoons killed.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up.
I heard that there was something more to
that's
it.
what I'm saying.
We don't know what that something else is, but it's almost as though she was looking for kind of a reason to do it.
I know that 2 days ago they fired 100 people at the Washington Post. Maybe it was yesterday. I don't know if she saw that sword hanging over her head.
Maybe.
I really don't know, and I'm not. I like Ann a lot. We used to be friends. I don't think she likes me very much anymore. but it's for my politics, not because we're
absolutely.
I don't like her work.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's.
It's funny how we can be friends with we can be friends with liberals. We can be friends with liberals in spite of their politics, but more often than not, they can't be friends with us because of our politics. There's just a difference in psychology there, I think.
Well, hold on here. Let me ask you this. I was syndicated with the Washington Post for 12 years. I know exactly what happens there. Probably not like she does, but 12 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And I promise you, if I were to draw a cartoon making fun of it doesn't even have to be Jeff Bezos. It could be my managing editor. I wouldn't keep my job. I don't know a patient in the world where you get to keep your job by calling your boss, bribing the incoming president.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that make sense to you? That doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It'd be kind of like with Alpha News, me doing a cartoon of the guy who runs Alpha News. Alpha News. Here's a cartoon of you doing something stupid, and expect him to want me to post that. So, or Americans for Limited Government, or Swamp Monsters.
Now Squeaky says. She used the word censored here because that's all that's being reported, and that she was. She does say she quit. I've seen where she was not fired. Once again,
well, her cartoon was.
I don't know another occupation where you aren't putting yourself at risk of being fired by making fun of the boss.
No, absolutely not. And she said
I almost feel stupid having to explain that.
yeah. Well, she was censored in the fact that the editorial editor probably said she can't do that cartoon. So then, since her idea, her sketch was censored from fruition. But
David Shipley, I looked him up and I've read everything he said about it. And he said the cartoon was repetitive. That was his reasoning.
Repetitive.
He didn't even say, "Hey, you're making fun of the boss." He doesn't want you to do that.
I don't know how it could be repetitive, but any closing thoughts that you would like to leave our audience?
Pray for these people out in California because that shouldn't have happened.
Absolutely.
You're going to read a lot. You're probably going to read a lot about who these people are, and they're rich people, but they didn't deserve to have their lives taken.
To lose everything, yeah.
And I do want to say this one last thing. I heard this tonight. Everybody's talking about Greenland in Canada.
Yeah.
And they're saying, Donald Trump wants to make Canada a state and buy Greenland. And the guy said, no, he doesn't. He just wanted to get them to the table. because as soon as he said that, Greenland starts saying, well, maybe we should do this. He just wanted to get them to come to the table. And Canada's going, well, it'll be a cold day in hell before we're at the state. But we will do this.
Yeah. There you go. The art of the deal.
Brilliant. That's pretty damn good negotiation.
The art of the deal. You go way up here and they come in and go, well, we'll do this. When the whole time, maybe you just wanted this. But you went up here. They said, well, we'll do this. And then this is where in your mind, you wanted this. It's
hey, look, I'm a cartoonist and I can figure that out. I mean, that's just like.
Yeah, I should. Anyway, do you have social media that you want to throw out there, or?
I'm on Twitter. I really enjoy Twitter. I've yet to figure out how to utilize it with my work.
Yeah,
I'm notoriously I'm a Luddite. I mean, I do draw electronically, but only out of necessity. Otherwise, I'd still draw and paint over that table right there.
Yeah,
which I still do for a lot of clients. And by the way, I do a lot of corporate gifts. I'm a not bad. I draw and paint people in groups and stuff like that for, it's a corporate gift you can't get anywhere. And so if you're interested in that, if companies call me, and I'm happy to show that kind of work.
What is your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is Mike Lester, isn't it? I'll tell you. I just told you I was bad at this. Yeah, Mike Lester, at Mike Lester.
At Mike Lester.
Yeah.
And I guess Facebook has opened up. I noticed that.
Can you see this? Can you see this? That is David Muir on camera. And when he turns around, you'll notice they have got clothespins. Look, see those clothespins?
Let me get it up closer. See if I can do it closer. Okay, bring it over. There we go. All
right, wait a minute. Hold on. This is David Muir. Look at the clothespins. Keeping his jacket nice and snug.
These guys are unbelievable. I noticed on Facebook, Facebook's opening up a little bit. I'm getting a lot more shares, a lot more comments. So I know people are seeing my stuff a lot more. They've stopped censoring over there. I was getting hardly anything, and now it's like I'll go over there. Let me see what we have. My last cartoon was on Facebook. I was amazed at what we had there. We had now this is unusual. I have 62 comments on the California Newsom cartoon I posted up there. I'm lucky if I would get 6 before.
Really?
Yeah. Zuckerberg opened it up. Remember, he did the big apology on there and pretended like it wasn't anything to do with him, and that he fired his.
I saw that.
Yeah, fired the staff and started the people that are policing the thing over there. So, but it's just crazy. It's just like night and day.
Community notes is the best thing that's happened in quite some time. It's not perfect.
No,
but it allows for at least a sober examination of the issue, rather than all of us. Who's going to scream the other person?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna close it off here. Thanks a lot, Mike, for joining me here for this hour or so.
I'm a ham. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. There's not a lot of you're not in an office where you can sit and hang out with your coworkers and have build camaraderie. So this is kind of my way of trying to build some camaraderie with fellow cartoonists, learn something from them, enjoy their work. And I definitely enjoy your work, buddy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey, guys, thank you for being here, and go there.
Well, that was awesome. I enjoyed that with Mike. I like his stuff a lot. I like his style. It's very funny, and he really makes some good points. But I think that wraps up the show for today. Hopefully next week, Joe Dan will be back and have a lot more videos and a lot more fun. He did give us a closing song that we can enjoy on our way out. I'm going to run our ticker. See, where's the banner? I'm going to run our banner. Joe Dan, you can catch Joe Dan over at Joe Dan Media, and you can catch me at AF Branco. I'm going to throw up some of the comments here real quick and make sure that I didn't miss any. I did. I'm going to miss some people, but I always go back after the program and check them out and try to respond as much as I can. Thank you, Laura. We appreciate it. We have, Steve. Thank you, Steve. LinkedIn user. That's Joe Dan's uncle. Who else do we got here? We got Roberto. You have lots of material to work with these days. I sure do. Mike and I and Joe Dan have a lot to work with. But he did give us a closing song. And I want to say hi to my friend over in Australia. Thanks, Simon. Joe Dan did give us a closing song to go out with, and I'll try to run some of these while the song is going, run some of these comments. And everybody over on Rumble, I just want to say thank you. You guys really, really heated it up there. You got South Carolina taking care of everything. She's kind of our go-to girl over there, and we really appreciate it. And they have some great conversations. I like to read them after the program, and it just kind of go through them and laugh and chuck along. I can't comment. I wish I had time to comment, but while the show's going and the other things going on. But anyway, we got a song from Aerosmith, the old days. So please enjoy, and we'll see you next week with Joe Dan Gorman. And maybe, just maybe, he may have a show for us. We'll see you later. Thanks.